Good evening, my friends. Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing this evening? Somehow I keep moving my camera. Anybody know how I keep doing that? I don't know. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. And we're going to show paw appreciation today. Where are you going, ma'am? A house is not a home without paw prints. Y'all know that I believe that. Because I got lots of paws running around my house. Woof. Well, you know, dogs, cat, paws. As long as it's paws. We're going to be paw-itive. Right? Hello, Miss Kathy, Denise, and Tony, and Beck, and Sandra, and Judy. Hello. Hello, everybody. Whoop. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Tonight we're going to use tinsel ties again. Alright, and we're going to use the large board. This is how we loaded the board, loaded the board, loaded the board. This is how we loaded our board. Hello, Miss Tina and Donna. Look, little one. I can't hold you and make a wreath. Contrary to popular belief. I have not figured that one out yet. This little dog thinks that I should be able to hold her while making a wreath, y'all. I have not figured that one out yet. All right, let's get our mesh cut and do some chit chat while we're cutting some mesh. We're going to cut our mesh. We're going to cut 16 pieces, 20 inches. Oh, she's not hiding. She's running around down here going, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. And I'm like, I can't. You're just going to have to sit there and look cute. I don't know what to tell her. Oh, my husband's home. She can go bug him now. Come on. Alrighty now. Where is everybody tonight? Or is there something wrong with my Facebook? And it's lying to me about how many people are actually here. I'm gonna guess Facebook's lying to me. Or everybody's just out enjoying the weather. My friends. Alright, so tinsel ties are wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. For those of you, especially if you have problems with your hands. It ranks right up there with using zip ties. So if you enjoy using zip ties, try tinsel ties sometime too. Thank you. I'm here. Snow? Ma'am, you can have your snow. I'm going to tell you that as nicely as I can. Okay? Tell Mother Nature to keep that stuff up north. Well, sun's out and I'm inside spring cleaning. It's because, you know, it's a good day to open the windows. Know what I mean, my friends? Spring cleaning requires, oh gosh, the dogs are going to get fired up now. They think it's playtime. You know, it requires open windows because of all the cleaning and chemicals and whatnot. Right? Let them play. My husband's like, y'all, and I'm like, just let them play. Let them play. It's so cute. I wish I could pan over so y'all could see the little one playing with Buster. I really do. Because Buster's so much bigger than the tiny one. Well. That was funny. Hey, Vanessa. Hello, Miss Angie. How are you? You should hear the little dog. She's going. The best growl that she's got is cute, y'all. It's just cute. Like, is that the best you got? And my one other dog, she's looking at them like they're just crazy. I want no part of this. No, thank you. She thinks she's the queen around here. Hello, Miss Michelle. Good evening. She's got a little attitude problem. You know what I love about these signs, y'all? You can pick like any color you want. Okay. I just chose to go earthy neutral. I don't know, but definitely she needs to find something else to do besides think I'm supposed to entertain her all day long. Is he? Oh, I'm so glad he showed up. My neighbor's back, y'all. We have our a groundhog, and he has finally decided to show up. In case y'all didn't know it, yes, I live out in the country, so you never know what might show up out here at any given moment. There's no telling. Okay. All right, so the other reason I'm using the green tinsel ties is because we're going to use greenery for this wreath. And then that way I don't have to worry about trying to hide pipe cleaners or anything later on. Typically, I don't have to worry about hiding them. This just makes it so much easier in the long run. And don't worry, y'all, even though Tina Kelly's not here. I didn't see Tina Kelly. Not yet. But supply list is in the comments. Have no fear. I think spring has finally sprung in Kentucky. I get frogs and lizards, and I get all kinds of things on my front porch. I don't think I've ever had a rat, though. I think rats are more of a not around here thing. I've had a skunk, possum, raccoon, armadillo. Had an armadillo on my front porch. Yeah, skunk chased my husband back in the house one time. I never seen my husband move so fast. Because he doesn't, y'all. My husband does not move fast. Like, no offense to my husband, but he doesn't. And I'm going to tell y'all what, when that skunk, and my husband saw that skunk, He turned around like his rear end was on fire. The chipmunks are friends with my husband. They run up and they'll sit on my husband's feet. So we've had our fair share of animals. My husband's not allowed to sit out on the front porch anymore, because when he sits out on the front porch, we get stray dogs, cats. So he's not allowed to sit out on the front porch anymore. At all. I would imagine he does not feed them. They're just attracted to him, Donna. Plainly put. And what ends up happening, that if we do see strays during the winter, like when it's really, really cold, yes, we put food out for them because, you know, it's harder for them to find food. So, other than that, no, we don't feed the strays. If anyone would be guilty of feeding the strays, that'd actually be my daughter, but she doesn't even feed the strays. Now, at one point in time, we did feed the chipmunks, and we probably need to go back to doing that so they'll quit chewing on the wires in my car. So, they're probably mad that we quit feeding them, and they're taking out their revenge. I had a dog that got sprayed by a skunk. And that's not fun to deal with either. I think as a human being it'd be easier because at least you'd submit to the stuff to get it off. Dogs, not so much. Alright, so we're going to use some paw print ribbon and some brown gingham checked diagonal. We cut it. I did. Who's we? There's not a mouse in my pocket. I cut it 14 inches. Oh my gosh. Did you marry the guy? Teresa? If you get sprayed by a skunk and you're on a date and you married him, like, I gotta know. Was there another date after that one? Miss Joan, at the very beginning of the tutorial, you can watch the replay. I did show the back of the wreath to show you how to load the board. I do it every time. Well, I don't know if we have rats around here. I've never seen them. Never heard of them. We have mice. That's different. Now, I will tell you this. There is a place on Earth that does not have snakes. My goal is to retire there. I understand, Judy, because if you ever get rats, oh my God. Well, it's just as bad as getting infested with mice. But rats are bigger. I want to say that it's Iceland. Ireland. I want to say it's Ireland is the place that does not have any snakes. Because I Googled it. I was like, is there any place on Earth that doesn't have snakes? Any place. Any place. When I found out there is a place, I was like, that's the place for me. Because for me, that's the closest you can get to God's country. No snakes. Some of y'all know what I mean. Anybody that thinks only good snake is a dead one understands exactly what I'm saying. Well, Ruthie, as far as I'm concerned, most animals qualified as vermin are destructive. What's the newest binge watches, my friends? See, Donnie, you and I would be friends because that's exactly why I don't go camping. Rodents, snakes, I'm out. I'm like you, I'm done. I got the mesh from the Ribbon Shed. All the products that I have, except for 2 things, you probably could get it unique at the Creek. If not, definitely you can get them at the Ribbon Shed. Donna, I wish I was a city girl. I gotta tell y'all this story. I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm not a city girl. And I used to be. Back in the day. Long time ago. Okay? But I'm definitely not now. Many, many years ago when I was younger, of course I was younger, and most of us when we're younger, we live in an apartment at some point in time. If you did not live in an apartment when you are younger, well, you're lucky. Very fortunate, count your blessings. But anyway, so I lived in an apartment when I was younger, and this was in the city. Okay? I had the bottom apartment. I had the, I don't like fortunate, I like, it's not fortunate, okay? But the couple that moved in above me, the woman was pregnant, okay? And she would stomp around her apartment all day long. I mean, stomp, y'all. And she stomped everywhere in the house. So I went up and I knocked on her door. And I politely talked to her. And I told her. I mean, we're talking about, have you ever heard, like, somebody would stomp, like, I mean, drive their heels into the ground. Stomp. So I went up and I politely talked to her and explained to her how amplified that was in my apartment. She still continued to do it. So I complained to the management of the apartment complex because it just kept continuing, kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So finally one day, she was having a dinner party or something going on at her house, y'all. And you should have seen me. Okay, because I had it. I was like, I was going to ruin her dinner party because she just wasn't getting this through her head. How rude she is. So I sat there on the arm of my couch with a broom handle beating on the ceiling. She finally came downstairs and she decided to get attitude with me about it. And she goes, "Is there a problem?" I said, "Nope." And I slammed the door in her face. Because at this point, I was fed up. I was beyond fed up. She goes, "Is there a problem?" "Nope." Slammed the door in her face. She went back upstairs. I continued to beat on the ceiling with my broomstick. She come downstairs. And she just decided that she wanted to get more attitude with me. Wanted to fight. Now, she's pregnant, y'all. She's pregnant. And I sat there and I told her, I said, number one, I said, it's your responsibility to protect your child. Okay? And if you want to put yourself in this situation and not protect your child, that's going to be on you, not on me. Because I was ready to fight. I was fighting mad, y'all. I was like, no holds bar. I did not care. I was ready to whoop the crap out of this inconsiderate, rude person. So, needless to say, shortly thereafter, she moved. And that right there told me, I'm not cut out for city life. Okay? Now, granted, living in the apartments was kind of fun sometimes. But like on a Friday night, the neighbors across next to me, they were younger. And they decided on a Friday night, I had to work on Saturday, and they were sitting there one night, and they're all having a beer and partying and whatnot, and carrying on. And they knew I worked on Saturday. They bought a car from me, y'all. They knew what I did for a living. So here I go again. I go beating on their door, and when I beat on their door, it flew right open. I was like, well, crap. I said, let me tell you something. I said, it's pretty rude of you to have a party going on over here. I said, the music's blaring into my apartment. And I said, the least you could have done was offer me a beer to go with the suffering. That's all I'm saying. Y'all, you should have seen the look on their face. And they just cracked open a beer and just kind of like handed it to me. Yep. And believe it or not, on whole, I got along with my neighbors that I lived around. I lived in a military, it was basically like a military area. And we would grill on the weekends, and everybody provided some kind of side dish, whatever. So I got along with my neighbors, you know, just every now and then had a couple of rudeness. You know, we all kind of, we'd do something on Saturday, but not Fridays. But yeah, that kind of right there let me know, no, I'm not really part of city life. I don't like all the noise. I don't like all the hustle and bustle. I don't like the idea of everybody knowing my business and having that kind of neighbors. And believe me, it's just, I mean, people knowing your business is just as bad out in the country. Because everybody's sitting there going, well, so-and-so got a new car when they drive by your house. And I get that kind of stuff, but it's just different. You know, I don't want to live anywhere where I have a neighbor beside me, another neighbor beside me, and one in my back door, and then one when I walk out my front door. So city life ain't for this girl. Y'all got awful quiet. Story time's over. If y'all gonna be this quiet, I ain't gonna tell no more stories. Keep my stories to myself. I mean, I have somebody, I live out in the country, and I have somebody that lives, you know, right across the street from me. And that's fine, because, you know, I can go out to my, I can still go out to my backyard and side yard with privacy. I will tell you, the one thing I don't like about living in the country is how far you have to drive to get to anything. Like my nearest Hobby Lobby, I gotta drive an hour. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Because when I do drive that hour, I don't know, if you live out in the country, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you live out in the country and you're like, well, and you got to go to the big city. Got to go to the big city that day. You plan your whole day to get as much accomplished as possible while you're there. And you spend the whole day because you drove that hour or however long it takes to get there. So y'all understand, if you live way out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when you get there, you're like, well, I think I'll go to Michael's and I'll go to Hobby Lobby. And while I'm, you know, I think I'll get this done while I'm here. You make a day of it. It's an adventure. So you get it. Like, you have this list of things that you want to accomplish while you're there. And then you're sitting there and I'll call my husband. Was there anything else when I think I'm done? Was there anything else I needed to do in Paducah while I was here? Anything? Denise, I used to live in Long Island, New York. Okay, I've been to the city. I know about them city rats. They are no joke. You can literally confuse them with a cat. They're that big. Oh, Beck, don't get me wrong. I like being around people. I do. I just don't like living around them, if that makes sense. I just feel like it'd be my luck that I would get that neighbor. I'd get that neighbor that thought it was her job to micromanage everything that went on. Hi, Pumpkin. Oh, hi, kiddo. Tiffany. Sorry. Sorry. I'm a people watcher, too. Like, seriously, serious people watcher. I am. But I can people watch. That's a good thing about the country. I can go people watch and go home. Because the thing is about people watching these days, it makes me even more grateful that I live out in the country. Some of y'all know exactly what I mean. It's like for some people, getting on a People of Walmart video is their life goal. I don't understand that. All right, so I like to put the bow off to the corner. Does anybody know why? I'm just curious. Because if you've been watching me for a long time, you might know the answer to this without me telling you. Why do I put the bow off to the corner instead of directly below the sign? Which, you know, sometimes I do put it directly below the sign, but not often. When I was in my 30s, my favorite thing to do was go with a friend and every now and then go to a bar and people watch. Because I'm here to tell you, if you go to a bar and people watch, oh, it'll make you appreciate what you have at home. And it used to be like, I was so glad, I was like, and I still am, but I was like, I'm so glad I'm not dating anymore. I'd be like, look at that fool. Because you can't. So it keeps the, especially when you use a square sign, it keeps the wreath from going square. So it's going to help the round wreath stay round. You know, that was in my 30s. I would do that. I got a pretty good kick out of it too. Mary, how are you feeling? How long are you going to be in the hospital for? What are you doing, Buster? He's like skulking around, y'all. Well, Mary, of course you're still hurting. You just had surgery. Why 2 days? It seems like, well, I mean... All right, my friends. So you could add flowers to this if you wanted to. But I just kind of like really genuinely just wanted to make it every day, every day, every day. So we're going to load it up with greenery. Now, if you wanted to personalize yours, then you would put flowers in with the greenery. And I have already, so y'all didn't have to go through the suffering part, pushed everything up on the stem to get it ready to go. Like I said, that way you didn't have to suffer watching me. Okay. Sometimes they keep me in the hospital and sometimes they kick me out. I personally like the ones where they kick me out. For a lot of reasons anymore. A lot of reasons. I admire nurses. I admire everything that they do. Some of them, though, they're just not nice anymore. I'm actually surprised this next surgery that I'm getting, Which is funny because the last surgery that I had, y'all, this is funny. The last surgery that I had on my back, before they kicked me out of the hospital, I had to prove, because there's stairs in my house, I had to prove that I could walk up and down flights of steps. Okay? This next one, I'm not going to be able to walk for a couple weeks after, but it's outpatient. They're going to kick me right out. So they know they're sending me home to a house with steps. Makes no sense, right? Like, they don't care how I'm going to get up the steps when I get home. Here's your crutches. Go. Oh, wow. Yeah, longest I've ever been in the hospital was my second major back surgery and the last one that I had. Of course, these days I get frequent flyer miles. They're like, oh, you again? What part of the back are we working on this time? I thought we had that all fused up by now. No, believe it or not, there's still parts of my back left for you to fuse. I haven't quite ran out of vertebrae yet. Well, sometimes they do, Sandra, but the reason that hospitals are so quick to try to get people out is because people do heal better when they're at home. They do better, and I understand why. Because when you're in hospital, they won't let you sleep. When you don't feel good, you need rest. Right? You don't feel good, you need rest. They keep you're up all day because the sun is out and whatnot, and that it's daylight and you can't get any dark. And then you're up all night because they come in and they wake you up to stick your finger, draw blood, run this and do that. Like, and I love it when when I'm in the hospital and they offer me sleeping pills. Look, just quit waking me up. Did you notice I was asleep before you offered me the sleeping pill? Well, I know why they wake you up all night. I asked. I found out. I was like, why? Why? Well, for those of you that want the answer to that $1,000,000 question, I can tell you why. The reason when you're in the hospital they wake you up at night is because they do all the lab work and stuff for the outpatient people during the day, for doctors' offices and whatnot. And they do all the blood work for the hospital stay people at night. That is why. So that is why they are waking you up all night long. See, well, I mean, like, they had to make sure that you were going to be fine. I ask questions. I ask like an abundance of questions. Like one time I was getting an MRI and I asked them why. Because, you know, even the person giving the MRI, the nurse, whatever, the MRI tech, was wearing a sweater. And I said, why? You're wearing a sweater. Why do they keep it so cold in here? They keep it so cold in there to keep those $1 million machines from overheating. Oh. Okay. I ask a lot of questions, y'all. Sometimes it annoys people. And I don't care. Because you'll never learn anything if you don't ask questions. I've had people go, you ask a lot of questions. Yes, yes I do. Yes I do. Mary, last time I was in the hospital, they were so worried about my blood sugar. I was like, if y'all stick my finger one more time. I was not going to have my finger stuck anymore. I was done. Over it. I was to the point of either I'm diabetic or I'm not. Make up your mind. If I'm diabetic, let's move on. If I'm not, leave my fingers alone. Well, I can't have that done, Lynn, because if I was to run and have back surgery, I can't walk. Like, my whole thing is I'm getting ready to have back surgery on my SI joint on my left side. So I can't just run out and have something done with my hip. Because, you know, I need my right side. And my hip on my right side is where I'm having problems. So, you know, it just kind of causes a little bit of... Yeah, at this point, I'm just hoping I go on the 28th to get an injection before my surgery. So I'm hoping, we're hoping to get me a little bit comfortable while I'm healing from my surgery. I'll take any kind of comfort that I can get at this point, my friends. Anybody that suffers from any form of chronic pain knows this beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's pretty lonely at night. Because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm hurting. Everybody else is asleep. And you don't wake anybody up because, you know, my husband's got to go to work. Tiffany's doing school. So you just lay there and, or you get up, go wander the house, watch TV, waiting for the pain to subside so you can be comfortable again. My husband's like, well, why didn't you wake me up? I don't know, because you got to go to work. All right, my friends. So because this is a square sign and we're going to put in our dog bones. Whoop, whoop. Now, I could have left this and just got paw prints, Because, you know, house is not a home without paw prints. But, oh, Jessica. It's fun. Does anybody else get like that weekly report that tells you how long you've been on your phone that week? I know. That's my thing. Like, I nap better during the day, and then at night, it's like restless legs all of a sudden. I don't understand it. Okay, so I get this thing, and I consider it's a good thing when my phone says, you were on your phone an hour and such less than the week before. Now, for those of you that will know exactly what I'm talking about, that means you actually slept at night. And you weren't aimlessly scrolling. That's like a victory. Some of y'all are sitting there knowing exactly what I'm talking about. Then I get the ones, you've used 27 more minutes this, well, of course I did. I was hurting a lot this last week. And I bet if you're like me, you have some serious Amazon wish carts too. Like I have a wish cart for redecorating each room of the house. Yep. Because you don't know what else to do at night. Because you're trying to be quiet so your significant other can sleep or your kids can sleep. So you're mentally redecorating the house in your Amazon wish list. Mm-hmm. Right now, I've moved on to my husband's bathroom downstairs. Do you think we should add flowers? I don't think so. I think a good neutral wreath is amazing. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, y'all? See, I can do nice and simple. I can do it. All right, my friends. That's it. Nice and simple. Easy peasy Japanesey. For me, yeah, this is simple. For me. Actually, I'm not itching to add anything. I kind of like it the way it is. Like, just because, you know, I just love just every now and then, just a simple everyday wreath. Just simple. Every now and then. Now, I am itching to make a big over-the-top wreath all the time. All the time. But, you know. Like, really big over the top. I like making big over top stuff. Alright, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the weather. Those of you that can. Those of you that can't, stay warm. And I will see y'all